Hey, did a video yesterday in which I proclaimed that I was buying Valero stock. If you're following Valero stock, you know it's down another 7% today. How do I feel about that? How do I feel about the fact that I bought in and immediately lost money? That's a reality of investing, that you are not going to pick the bottom, that situations will change and stocks will go down. Because of that, and knowing that, I never go full in on the first purchase. I do what is referred to as dollar cost averaging. And as a result of it going down, Valero 7% today, I'm putting in a limit order to buy more. Again, trying to take advantage of this overall situation rather than being spooked by the daily activity. So why did I buy Valero? And I want to review that for those of you who are just seeing this the first time. I announced that I wanted to buy oil. And I announced that I was going to do some analysis of the larger oil companies to make a decision of which one I was going to buy. And I took my video viewers, and you can see, I'll link at the end of this, to a video where we went through and looked at how I did my analysis. And what I did my analysis on was to determine, number one, what was the financial strength of the four companies we were looking at. And that was Exxon, Chevron, Valero, and HollyFrontier. What I then did was find out where these companies were situated in the overall structure of the oil industry. What I knew was there are those people who pull the oil out of the ground. There are those people who then move that oil from wherever it comes out of the ground to the refinery. And then there is a part of the industry that just markets the oil products. And it is called the upstream, those pulling it out of the ground, the midstream, those moving it around, and the marketers are the downstream, those who market the gasoline and oil products. Now, some companies are involved in all three, and some companies are only in the upstream, the middle stream, and the downstream. I wanted to get a company that was only involved in the downstream because there's too many variables when you get involved in all aspects. And the big variable right now is Russia and Saudi Arabia and their disputes on not adhering to OPEC's desire to cut production in lieu of the lack of consumption and hold prices up. But I believe, and a lot of pundits believe, this was a move on Saudi Arabia and Russia's part to break the U.S. oil market. And the U.S. oil market is basically shale, and that's Texas, North Dakota, and some of Pennsylvania and various parts of the country. And they have a higher price to get the oil out, and it's more fragmented. So this is a move, it appears, by Russia and Saudi Arabia to break the U.S. oil. And they've done it. There will be multiple bankruptcies in Texas, in North Dakota, in Pennsylvania as a result of this. Now, our president, Trump, has said that he is going to make a phone call to Putin and see if he can't get this straightened out. If in fact he does, you will see a major shift in the prices of the oil stocks. I'm not counting that he is. I believe Putin is up to becoming a nice guy in the overall European-Asian complex. Because, again, this morning I read that Putin has sent a number of airplanes to Italy with health supplies. That's not in the character that we think of Vladimir Putin. But he's trying to play nice. This oil situation may be part of his trying to play nice to the people that he sells oil to? I don't know. But I think that President Trump holds a few cards that may change this situation. But then coming back to my decision to buy Valero, I did the analysis on the four companies, and the reason I chose Valero because of their quick ratio and their current ratio. And what that is their ability to pay short-term debt and to stay liquid through bad times. Now, I was okay with my decision. Then when I saw it go down 7% today, I said, maybe I need to look a little deeper. So I did a little further research, and I came up with an article as a part of Motley Fool, and it came out today. And the title of their article is Why I'm Betting on Valero's Management. And what this article does is it goes through and it tells you basically how Valero has managed their cash flow and their credit line over the past 4 years, and how they have established a credit line of some 7.8 billion that they draw down when they need to do improvements and structural developments in their company, but then when they get in hard times, they back off on that. So they keep this level of credit, this $7.8 billion available at all times. Now, they also released information, and the Motley Fool article refers to it. In 2019, they didn't draw on that credit line whatsoever. The other thing they did is they pay a hefty dividend. I think it's about 7, almost 8%. Well, that represents about $5 billion worth of outgo that they have to pay. This past year, when business was good, they were buying shares back. By virtue of buying the shares back, that lessens their dividend obligation. So we're looking at a company that is in the midst of a terrible situation that they aren't responsible for, either the Russian Arab or Saudi Arabia thing or the virus thing, but could devastate their business. And through good management, they're going to survive. Now, do I believe then once this is all settled, once I get back in my car, that Valero's stock will go back to its highs? Yes, I do. Because I am not probably going to be anxious to get on an airplane to go to Ireland like my wife and I had planned on doing in June. I'm not going to be anxious to get on a cruise ship with my cousins like we had planned to in November. Instead, I'm probably going to take a road trip somewhere in the United States, and with my cousins, we'll probably rent a house or multiple condos on the beach, and we'll drive there. So I'll use more gasoline. So I'm of the belief that the gasoline business is actually going to see a spurt. Yeah, there's going to be a downturn in some regards because more people are going to stay at home and work at home and not drive to work after this all goes over. But I think we are still going to be majorly dependent on the gasoline and lubricant and oil industry once this all settles. So I'm feeling good about my investment in Valero, and I'm doubling down. I will be pretty much at my capacity of what I want to put in Valero, probably at the end of the day. Now, there's another thing that I wanted to just share with you, because another one of the stocks that I'm really anxious to get into is Microsoft. Microsoft it lost its identity, but Microsoft is coming back, particularly with its movements in artificial intelligence and facial recognition and quantum computing. Microsoft right now is working very strongly with state governments, in particular with Washington State, in getting approval for law enforcement to use facial recognition. In fact, Microsoft is in many cases writing the legislation that is being used by multiple states to get this activated. This is a multi-billion-dollar business, and it is going to become a part of our lives, just as I believe we're going to have a daily health checkup through our smart bathrooms and through our smart homes. And this is also going to be driven by artificial intelligence and quantum computing. So I still want to make sure that the bulk of my portfolio is centered on the big nine. And I want to take out 3 of the big 9 that are located in China, and I want to focus on the 6 of the big 9, which is IBM, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Google. If you haven't read this book, go into the description and you will find a link to it on Amazon.com. This should be your primer for how to invest for the next 5 years. Okay? I'm feeling good about Valero. I don't like that it's down 7%, but it's okay.